Well, this is just fantastic. Here I am, Vex Morlani, senior xenobiologist of the Galactic Research Consortium, standing in the sterile white halls of Station Omicron 7, wondering how in the blazing nebulas I got assigned to study the most terrifying species in known space: humans. Those bipedal nightmares from the third rock orbiting Sol. You want to know what makes humans so scary? It's not their claws, because they don't have any. It's not their fangs, because those are pathetic little nubs. It's not even their size, because half the galaxy could step on them without noticing. No, what makes humans absolutely bone-chilling is something far worse than any natural weapon. They laugh at pain. Not just their own pain, mind you. That would be disturbing enough. They laugh at everyone's pain. And today, lucky me, I get to witness this psychological horror firsthand. Subject designation H-47 has been secured in Laboratory Bay 3, announces my assistant, Crix Telmar. His four eyes blinking in sequence like a malfunctioning traffic signal. Poor kid probably thinks this is just another routine dissection. Oh, how wrong he is. The human, a female specimen named Maya Hartwell, sits strapped to the examination table with restraints that could hold a Rigelian battle rhino. She's conscious, of course. The ethics committee insists on that. Apparently, studying an unconscious human tells you nothing about their true nature. Wonderful. So, Maya says, her voice carrying that distinctly human quality of casual indifference to mortal peril, "Are you guys going to get started, or should I order room service? Because honestly, this table is about as comfortable as sleeping on a pile of space rocks." Crix's antennae twitch nervously. The subject appears to be experiencing pre-examination anxiety manifesting as inappropriate humor. I want to tell him that this isn't anxiety, this is just how they are. But why ruin his innocence so early? Commencing preliminary external examination, I announced to the recording device, trying to maintain some semblance of scientific protocol. Subject displays typical human characteristics: 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head. Standard bipedal configuration. Wow, 4 years of xenobiology school, and that's your opening observation? Maya chuckles. Next you'll be telling me I have skin and breathe oxygen. Really breaking new ground here, Doc. Crix drops his scanner. The clattering sound echoes through the lab like a death knell. The subject is exhibiting aggressive verbal behavior, he whispers, backing toward the exit. Aggressive? Maya laughs harder. Kid, I haven't even gotten started yet. Wait until you see what happens when you actually touch me with those tentacle things. And there it is. The laugh. That sound that has sent shivers down the spines of every species from here to the Andromeda Galaxy. It's not the sound itself, really. It's what it represents. Complete and utter fearlessness in the face of scientific investigation. Proceeding with surface tactile examination, I continue, extending my primary manipulator toward her arm. The moment my appendage makes contact with her skin, Maya erupts into giggles. Oh, that tickles. Your tentacles are all squishy and warm. It's like being examined by a friendly octopus. Crix has now pressed himself against the far wall, his breathing apparatus working overtime. Note for the record: I dictate. Subject exhibits positive response to physical contact. This contradicts all previous data suggesting humans find alien contact distressing. Distressing? Maya's eyes, those terrifying forward-facing predator eyes, light up with amusement. Are you kidding? This is the most interesting thing that's happened to me all week. Usually when someone wants to study me, they just ask boring questions about Earth agriculture or human mating rituals. The temperature in the room seems to drop several degrees. Crix's 4 eyes have now dilated to maximum size. Did she just mention mating rituals casually? He stammers. Duh. Focus, Crix, I hiss. We're here to study their pain response, not their reproductive behaviors. Pain response? Maya perks up like she's just been offered her favorite dessert. Oh, this just got way more interesting. Are we talking about the fun kind of pain or the boring medical kind? I freeze. In all my years of xenobiology, studying everything from the silicon-based crystals of Vega Prime to the energy beings of the Horsehead Nebula, I have never encountered a species that refers to pain as fun. There are different categories of pain in human experience, I ask, genuinely curious now despite my growing unease. Oh, absolutely, Maya nods enthusiastically. There's the good pain, like when you exercise really hard or eat spicy food. There's the annoying pain, like stubbing your toe or getting a paper cut. And then there's the educational pain, which is what you're probably going for here. Crix makes a sound that can only be described as a mechanical whimper. Educational pain? I repeat slowly. Sure. Pain that teaches you something about yourself or your limits. It's actually quite useful. Plus, it makes for great stories later. This is insane. This is beyond insane. This is the kind of insane that makes you question everything you thought you knew about biology, psychology, and the fundamental nature of survival instincts. Initiating minor pain stimulus test, I announce, producing a small neural probe. This device will generate a low-level electrical current designed to activate pain receptors. Ooh, electricity. Maya's face brightens. Are we talking taser level or just static shock? Because I've got to tell you, I once stuck my finger in a light socket as a kid, and that was quite the experience. She experimented on herself. As a child, for curiosity. The probe touches her skin, delivering what should be an uncomfortable but manageable shock. Maya giggles. Not a yelp. Not a gasp. Not even a grunt of discomfort. She giggles like I've just told her a mildly amusing joke. That's it? She asks. Come on, Doc, my electric toothbrush has more kick than that. Are you even trying? Crix has now curled up in the corner, his species equivalent of the fetal position. Increasing stimulus intensity by 20%, I announce, my voice cracking slightly. The probe delivers what should be a quite painful shock. Maya's response? Now we're getting somewhere. That actually tingles nicely, kind of like those massage chairs at the mall. But with more zap, I increase the intensity again and again. By the time I reach what should be an agonizing level of electrical stimulation, Maya is practically bouncing with excitement. This is fantastic. I can feel my muscle fibers contracting in really interesting patterns. It's like having a personal light show under my skin. At this point, I'm beginning to understand why humans are banned from most civilized sectors of the galaxy. It's not because they're violent, though they certainly can be. It's not because they're unpredictable, though they absolutely are. It's because they treat the fundamental building blocks of existence, like pain and fear and survival, as entertainment. Subject continues to display positive effect during pain stimulus. I record, my voice hollow, requesting permission to proceed to Phase 2 testing. Phase 2. Maya's eyes light up. Oh, please tell me Phase 2 involves sharp objects. I've always wondered what alien surgical tools look like. Crix makes a sound like air escaping from a punctured hull. Sharp objects are part of the protocol, I admit reluctantly. Excellent. You know, back on Earth, I used to volunteer for medical students to practice on. Nothing like helping future doctors learn their craft while getting to experience all the weird sensations they can produce. This explains so much about human space exploration. They don't leave their planet because they're brave or curious or seeking new worlds. They leave because they're bored. They've run out of ways to hurt themselves on their home world, so they venture into the galaxy looking for new and creative forms of pain. Preparing micro-incision apparatus, I announce, producing what looks like a scaled-down version of a plasma cutter. Ooh, it glows. That's so much cooler than regular scalpels. Is it going to cauterize as it cuts? Because that would be incredibly efficient. The blade touches her skin, making a small incision along her forearm. Blood wells up. That distinctive red fluid that marks humans as one of the few iron-based life forms in the galaxy. Maya cranes her neck to get a better look. Fascinating. Look how clean that cut is, and the blood flow pattern is really quite elegant. Are you getting good data from this? She's critiquing my surgical technique while I'm cutting her open. For science. The subject continues to display abnormal responses to tissue damage. I record. No signs of distress, fear, or survival instinct activation. Survival instinct? Maya laughs. Doc, if humans had proper survival instincts, we'd still be hiding in caves afraid of fire. The whole point of being human is doing things that any sensible creature would avoid. That cannot be an accurate assessment of your species' philosophy. Have you ever heard of human recreational activities? Maya asks cheerfully while I make a second incision. We jump out of perfectly good aircraft for fun. We climb mountains that are actively trying to kill us. We eat food so spicy it causes temporary blindness. We voluntarily subject ourselves to temperatures that would be considered torture devices by most species. I pause in my cutting. You do these things, voluntarily, for fun. And sometimes we even pay money to do them. Crix has begun rocking back and forth, muttering something in his native language that roughly translates to "Why did I choose this career path?" Proceeding with deeper tissue examination, I announce, trying to maintain some professional composure. The incision goes deeper, exposing muscle and connective tissue. Maya watches with the fascination of a scientist observing a particularly interesting chemical reaction. Oh wow, look at that muscle fiber structure. And is that a nerve bundle? The electrical activity must be incredible right now. She's not just enduring this. She's enjoying it. She's learning from it. She's treating her own vivisection as an educational opportunity. Note for the record. I continue, my voice growing more strained. Human pain response appears to be fundamentally different from all known galactic species. Subject treats physical damage as a source of curiosity rather than distress. Well, of course, Maya says matter-of-factly, pain is just information. It tells you what's happening to your body. Why would you be upset about getting more information? That's like being angry at a weather report for telling you it's raining. This is the moment I realize we've been approaching human psychology completely wrong. Every other species in the galaxy treats pain as a warning system, a signal to avoid danger and preserve life. Humans treat it as data collection. Are you suggesting that humans have evolved beyond the normal pain avoidance response? I ask. Evolved beyond it? Maya grins, and that expression on a human face is somehow more terrifying than any predator's snarl. Doc, we've weaponized it. We use pain to make ourselves stronger, faster, better. We seek it out deliberately to improve ourselves. Weaponized pain response? Sure. Ever heard of exercise? Military training? Childbirth? We literally use controlled pain to enhance our capabilities. Other species avoid discomfort. We cultivate it. The scalpel slips in my manipulator. I've been studying xenobiology for 2 decades, and I've never encountered anything like this. Crix, I call to my assistant. Are you recording all of this? From the corner comes a muffled response that sounds like I want to go home. Let me ask you something, Doc. Maya continues conversationally while I probe deeper into her arm. What's the most dangerous thing your species has ever done for entertainment? I consider this. We have competitive mathematics competitions. Maya's laughter fills the laboratory like a warning siren. Mathematics competitions. Oh, that's precious. You want to know what humans do for fun? We strap ourselves to rockets and shoot ourselves into space. We dive to the bottom of oceans where the pressure would crush most life forms. We spelunk through caves that haven't seen light since your planet was forming. Each word is like a small explosion in my consciousness. I'm beginning to understand why the Galactic Council has classified humans as a Class 7 hazard. It's not because they're aggressive or violent. It's because they're completely, utterly, incomprehensibly insane. And that's just our hobbies. Maya continues. You should see what we do professionally. We have people whose job it is to run into burning buildings, others who voluntarily go to war zones to help strangers. Some humans dedicate their entire lives to studying things that could kill them just by being in the same room. The incision is now deep enough to expose bone. Maya peers at it with the interest of an art critic examining a masterpiece. Beautiful bone structure. Is that the radius or the ulna? I always get those mixed up. I realize I'm shaking. My manipulators are trembling as I continue the examination. This isn't just a scientific study anymore. This is a glimpse into the abyss of human psychology, and that abyss is looking back at me and laughing. Subject maintains conversational demeanor during deep tissue examination. I record. No indication of shock, trauma, or discomfort despite significant tissue damage. You know what's really wild? Maya says, seemingly oblivious to the fact that I'm currently performing surgery on her without anesthesia. This isn't even close to the worst pain I've experienced. You want to hear about the time I got food poisoning from street tacos in Bangkok? Now that was educational. No, I do not want to hear about that. I don't want to hear about any human pain experiences ever again. I want to go back to studying nice, normal, predictable life forms that respond to stimuli in logical, sensible ways. But I can't stop. The scientific method demands completion, even if that completion might permanently damage my sanity. Commencing neurological response testing, I announce, producing a device that directly stimulates nerve pathways. Ooh, now we're getting to the good stuff, Maya exclaims. Are you going to make my fingers twitch? Can you make me taste colors? I've always wondered what that would be like, taste colors. She wants to taste colors, and the neural stimulator activates, sending carefully calibrated signals through her nervous system. The intended result should be intense, overwhelming sensory input that borders on torture. Maya's reaction? Aji, oh my God, this is incredible. It's like having synesthesia but controllable. Can you turn up the intensity? I want to see how far this goes. From behind me, I hear Crick's whisper, we're all going to die. And for the first time since beginning this examination, I'm starting to think he might be right. 3 hours later, I'm sitting in my office staring at a glass of Alterian brandy, wondering if early retirement might be the sanest career move I've ever considered. The examination of Maya Hartwell has concluded. DC. And the results are being compiled into what will undoubtedly become the most classified document in Galactic Research Consortium history. My communication device chirps. Admiral Thorax Venge, head of Galactic Security, appears on the screen looking like he hasn't slept in several rotations. Morlani, he growls. I need your preliminary report immediately. The Council is in emergency session. Admiral, I begin carefully. I'm not sure the Council is prepared for what I've discovered. Just give me the basics. How dangerous are humans on a scale of 1 to 10? I take a long sip of brandy. Sir, I don't think our scale goes high enough. There's a pause that lasts approximately 17 heartbeats. I know because I counted them. Explain. Yes, Admiral, we've been classifying humans based on their physical capabilities, their technology, their territorial expansion. We've been looking at the wrong metrics entirely. What should we be looking at? Their relationship with suffering. Another pause. This one lasts 23 heartbeats. Come again? Come again, sir. Humans don't just tolerate pain, they actively seek it out. They use it as a tool for self-improvement. They've turned suffering into entertainment, education, and personal growth. The Admiral's 3 eyes blink in sequence. Are you telling me they enjoy being hurt? It's worse than that, sir. They enjoy hurting themselves, voluntarily. For fun. Through the office window I can see Station Omicron 7's medical bay, where Maya Hartwell is currently recovering from her examination. The word recovering is generous, considering she spent the entire procedure asking if we had any more advanced testing equipment she could try. Morlani, I need specifics. What exactly happened during your examination? I pull up my notes, though honestly I'm not sure any written record can adequately capture the psychological horror I've witnessed. Subject remained conscious and conversational throughout all procedures. Deep tissue examination, neurological stimulation, pain threshold testing. Not only did she show no signs of distress, she provided running commentary and asked for increased intensity levels. Increased intensity? Sir, by the end of the session we were using equipment designed for interrogating Xantharian war criminals. She called it moderately interesting and asked if we had anything stronger. I can hear the Admiral's breathing apparatus working overtime. There's more, sir. During the neurological testing, I discovered something that changes everything we know about human psychology. What? They have a concept they call no pain, no gain. It's not just a saying, Admiral. It's a fundamental principle of their existence. They believe that growth, improvement, and achievement are impossible without suffering. The silence stretches so long I wonder if the communication link has failed. Are you telling me, the Admiral finally says, that humans have built their entire civilization on the principle that suffering is necessary for progress? That's exactly what I'm telling you, sir. And it gets worse. How could it possibly get worse? I scroll through my notes to the section that made me seriously consider requesting a transfer to the archives department, where the most dangerous thing I'd encounter would be a paper cut. They have sports, sir. Competitive activities where the entire point is to inflict pain on opponents or themselves. Boxing, where they punch each other in the head repeatedly. Wrestling, where they try to physically dominate each other. Something called football that appears to be organized warfare disguised as entertainment. You're describing gladiatorial combat. No, sir. Gladiatorial combat had rules and was generally fought to the death quickly. Human sports are designed to prolong the suffering for maximum entertainment value. And here's the truly terrifying part. They pay money to watch other humans suffer. I can practically hear the Admiral's worldview crumbling. But surely they're medical professionals, they're healers. They must have normal reactions to pain and suffering? About that, sir. During our conversation, Maya mentioned that she used to volunteer for medical students to practice on. She described it as helping future doctors learn their craft. She let trainee surgeons cut her open for educational purposes. The communication screen flickers. For a moment, I think the Admiral might have fainted. Sir? Are you still there? I'm here, Morlani. I'm just trying to process the implications of what you're telling me, sir. Permission to speak freely? Granted, we need to completely revise our threat assessment protocols. Humans aren't dangerous because they're strong or smart or technologically advanced. They're dangerous because they're completely unpredictable. A species that seeks out pain for entertainment is capable of anything. What do you recommend? I finish my brandy and pour another. Immediate reclassification from Class 7 Hazard to, sir. I don't think we have a classification system that adequately describes humans. Create one. Sir, I propose we establish a new category, Class Omega Existential Threat. Not because they'll destroy us with weapons or conquer us with force, but because contact with them might fundamentally alter our understanding of what it means to be alive. There's a soft chime from my door. Maya Hartwell enters without waiting for permission, looking completely recovered from her examination. In fact, she looks energized. Hey, Doc, she says cheerfully. Great session today. I was wondering if you guys had any other testing procedures I could try, maybe something involving temperature extremes? I've always been curious about how my nerve endings would respond to liquid nitrogen. I gesture frantically at the communication screen, but Maya notices the Admiral's image. Oh, hello there. She waves at the screen. Are you another scientist? This place is fantastic. Do you have any experiments running that need test subjects? I'm happy to volunteer. Admiral Venge's expression shifts through several stages of what I can only describe as existential terror. You want to volunteer for more experiments? He asks weakly. Absolutely. Today was just the preliminary stuff, right? I'm ready for the advanced testing. Bring on the heavy-duty equipment. The Admiral looks at me. I look at the Admiral. We both look at Maya, who is practically bouncing with excitement at the prospect of additional scientific torture. Maya, I say carefully, most beings would consider what we did today to be traumatic. She tilts her head like a curious puppy. Traumatic. Doc, that was the most educational experience I've had since I signed up for that experimental drug trial back on Mars. Experimental drug trial? Oh yeah, they were testing new painkillers. I was in the control group that got the placebo, so I got to experience all the side effects without any of the benefits. It was fascinating from a neurological perspective. The Admiral makes a sound that might be described as a mechanical sob. Maya, I continue. Do you understand that most species would consider deliberate pain infliction to be torture? Well, sure, if it's involuntary. But when it's consensual and educational, it's just advanced learning. You guys are helping me understand my own biology better. That's incredibly valuable. She pauses. looking thoughtful. Actually, that gives me an idea. Would you be interested in studying human pain tolerance under different conditions? I could provide baseline data from various extreme sports I participate in. Extreme sports: mud, rock climbing without safety equipment, ice swimming, fire walking, that sort of thing. I keep detailed logs of all my injuries and recovery times. It might be useful for your research. I realize I'm hyperventilating. My species doesn't even have a word for fire walking because no sane being would combine those two concepts. You walk on fire? The Admiral asks, his voice barely a whisper. It's more like running, really. The key is to move fast enough that the heat doesn't have time to cause serious tissue damage. Though I did get some interesting blisters last time that taught me a lot about skin regeneration rates. The communication screen goes dark. I suspect the Admiral has either disconnected or suffered some form of psychological breakdown. Did I say something wrong? Maya asks, noticing the blank screen. No, Maya. You said something terrifyingly right. Over the next several hours, Maya regales me with stories of human recreational activities that sound like methods of execution from the galaxy's most creative torturers. Skydiving, bungee jumping, deep-sea diving, mountain climbing, motorcycle racing, competitive eating of capsaicin-based foods. Each story is told with the casual enthusiasm most beings reserve for discussing pleasant weather. The really interesting thing about humans, she explains while I frantically take notes, is that we've discovered pain can be addictive. We call them adrenaline junkies, people who need increasingly dangerous activities to achieve the same psychological satisfaction. Addictive pain, I mutter, writing furiously. Of course it is. It's not just physical pain either. We have entire genres of entertainment designed to cause emotional distress. Horror movies, tragic literature, music specifically composed to make people cry. You seek out emotional pain as well? Sure. It's cathartic. We call it having a good cry or enjoying a good scare. Emotional pain helps us process complex feelings and experiences. I set down my writing implement. My manipulators are cramping from trying to document everything Maya is telling me. Maya, I need to ask you something, and I want you to think carefully before answering. Shoot, in your opinion, what would it take to truly frighten a human? She considers this question with the seriousness of a philosopher contemplating the nature of existence. Honestly? Boredom. Boredom? Mine, the absence of challenge, growth, or new experiences. Most humans would rather face physical danger than spend eternity in a perfectly safe, comfortable environment with nothing to do. This is it. This is the key to understanding human psychology. They don't fear death, pain, or suffering. They fear stagnation. So humans would choose dangerous uncertainty over safe predictability every time. That's why we left Earth in the first place. We could have stayed home, safe and comfortable, but we chose to launch ourselves into the unknown void of space to see what was out there. My communication device chirps again. This time it's Director Yulax Kandre from the Galactic Psychology Institute. Morlani, I've been reviewing your preliminary data. Please tell me you've made some kind of mistake. No mistake, Director. Humans appear to be exactly as psychologically anomalous as my reports indicate. According to your notes, the test subject requested additional pain stimuli and criticized your equipment as insufficiently challenging. That's correct. And she's currently volunteering for follow-up experiments involving more extreme testing protocols. Also correct. There's a long pause during which I can hear the director's assistants arguing in the background about psychological classification systems. Morlani, we're going to need a complete psychological profile of this human, full cognitive assessment, emotional mapping, behavioral prediction modeling. Director, with respect, I don't think our psychological assessment tools are designed for beings that treat pain as entertainment, then design new ones. The Council needs to understand what we're dealing with. Maya leans toward the communication screen. Did someone mention psychological testing? That sounds fascinating. Are we talking cognitive puzzles, personality assessments, stress response evaluation? All of the above. The director responds cautiously. Excellent. I love psychological testing. Back on Earth, I participated in a study about fear responses. They put me in situations designed to trigger maximum terror and measured my reactions. And what were your reactions? Mostly curiosity about the experimental design and suggestions for how they could make the scenarios more frightening. I think I broke their equipment. The director disconnects without another word. Did I break another one? Maya asks. I'm afraid so. Over the following days, word spreads throughout Station Omicron 7 about the human test subject who laughs during medical procedures. Scientists from across the galaxy request permission to conduct their own experiments. Maya agrees to everything. She volunteers for zero-gravity endurance testing and sets new station records. She participates in sensory deprivation experiments and emerges asking if they have any longer-term isolation chambers. She undergoes psychological stress testing and provides detailed feedback on how the scenarios could be improved. Every test designed to find human breaking points instead reveals new depths of their incomprehensible resilience. The breakthrough comes during the final experiment of her stay. Dr. Quill Nexer from the Department of Xenopsychology decides to try a different approach. Instead of inflicting pain or stress, he places Maya in a completely comfortable environment with unlimited food, entertainment, and luxury amenities. No challenges, no discomfort, no stimulation beyond basic pleasure. Within 6 hours, she's climbing the walls, literally. This is torture, she declares, having somehow managed to scale the supposedly climb-proof walls of her luxury suite. How do you expect me to grow or learn anything in here? The environment is designed to be perfectly pleasant, Dr. Nexer explains. Pleasant is the problem. There's no adversity, no challenge, no opportunity for improvement. This is psychological torture disguised as comfort, and there it is. The final piece of the puzzle. Humans aren't just comfortable with pain and suffering, they require it for psychological well-being. A completely safe, comfortable existence is, to them, a form of torment. When Maya's shuttle departs Station Omicron 7 3 days later, she leaves behind a completely transformed understanding of human psychology. She also leaves behind several dozen requests for her to return for additional testing, all of which she enthusiastically accepts. As I watch her shuttle disappear into hyperspace, I realize that humans haven't just changed our scientific understanding of pain tolerance and psychological resilience. They've fundamentally altered our perception of what it means to be alive. Most species seek safety, comfort, and predictability. Humans seek growth, challenge, and the unknown. They've turned the basic survival instinct completely inside out. That night, I file my final report with a single recommendation. Humans should be reclassified not as a threat to galactic security, but as a threat to galactic sanity. Because any species that can make pain look like entertainment is capable of making anything look reasonable. And that, more than any weapon or technology, is what makes them truly terrifying. The report is classified at the highest levels, but rumors spread anyway. Within months, human exploration vessels start receiving unexpected invitations from curious alien species who want to understand beings that laugh during dissection. Maya Hartwell becomes something of a celebrity, traveling from system to system, and participating in scientific studies and inadvertently revolutionizing xenopsychology simply by being herself. And somewhere in the classified archives of the Galactic Research Consortium sits a single line that summarizes everything we learned from studying humans. They are not afraid of the dark. They are afraid of never finding out what's hiding in it. That might be the most terrifying discovery in the history of galactic science.